Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the situation you are in? Do you ever feel alone and helpless as everyone turns their back on you? What do you do in these situations? Do you take things into your own hands while you lose sleep stressing? Or do you trust in God? Psalm 3 provides reassurance and an excellent model of faith for us to follow in challenging times. Hi everyone, welcome back to Visual Scriptures. For those who might be new to this channel, my name is Mark. On this channel, I combine my love for God and filmmaking together to share His word with others. Over the last few videos, we have been exploring the book of Psalms, deconstructing the individual Psalms and seeing how they can relate to our lives today. In doing so, we have been looking at the deeper meanings of the Psalms, which we can often miss in our 21st century perspectives. In today's video, we are going to be exploring the third Psalm. Psalm 3 is the first Psalm with the title. While our modern Bibles may have headings for the other Psalms, this is the first Psalm that actually has a title in the original Hebrew text. The title is A Psalm of David, when he fled from Absalom, his son. This title refers to the story told over 2 Samuel chapters 15 to 19. In a nutshell, King David was a powerful and successful king of ancient Israel. He was described as a man after God's own heart. He fought many wars and defeated many of Israel's enemies. And while he experienced a lot of hard times, I think none could compare to when his own son, Absalom, conspired against him. Absalom was the third son of King David. And instead of imitating his father's good traits, Absalom grew prideful and decided to overthrow his father and establish himself as king over Israel. This forced his father, King David, to flee for his life. The prideful son eventually decided to wage war on his father by sending an army out to fight him. Imagine how King David would have felt. The feelings of hurt and betrayal. This is the context in which Psalm 3 was written. This psalm begins with King David explaining his challenging situation in verses 1 to 2, explaining that many foes have risen up against him, and they taunt him by saying that God will not deliver him. Now you have to remember that the foes that David talks about in these verses include his own son and the people that he used to lead. Again, imagine how betrayed he must have felt. He was being personally attacked both physically and verbally by those that he loved and used to trust. I think life would have felt like it was falling apart. Many of us would have felt hopeless in this situation and lost faith that God would save. But David did not lose hope. Instead, he remained steadfast in his faith that God would deliver him. In verses 3 to 4, we see his attention shift from his personal circumstances, problems, and enemies to God. He notes that God is a shield around him, lifting his head high and answering his prayers. The word shield evokes the feeling of protection. A soldier on a battlefield relies on his shield to keep him safe from deadly blows and arrows. In the same way, King David is saying that God will protect him from harm. This sense of protection gives David peace to rest from his worries, and because of this, in verses 5 to 7, he states, "I lie down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear though tens of thousands assail me on every side." This is remarkable when you consider the context that David was in. There is a Jewish thought based on this psalm that often our greatest adversary is the enemy within. That includes both the nation and the individual. Based on the context of this psalm, we can see that King David's challenges did not come from another nation. Rather, it came from within his own. Even worse, it came from within his own family, his very own son. More so, rabbis teach that this psalm shows us that our own self-destructive behaviors and unrestrained cravings are more dangerous than external enemies, as they can destroy both the body and soul. Going back to verses 5 to 6, how many of us lose sleep over the little things in life as we stress about tomorrow and focus in on our problems? I know that I'm guilty of doing that. When we stress, many of us take things into our own hands, abandoning our reliance on God. And when we do that, that is when we can be found in danger. Instead, we need to follow the example set by King David in this psalm. Rather than focusing on our problems, we need to remember God's goodness and center our thoughts on Him, trusting that from Him will come deliverance from our problems. He is always there to be a shield. We are never alone, no matter what situation we are going through. As the psalm concludes in verse 8, from the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more videos on the Psalms and how they can apply to our lives today. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, stay safe and keep that faith.